Time again for another installment of the basics. And on today's show, I'm going to take a step back from talking about the various cards and card types in different CCGs. And instead, I want to talk to you about the packaging that some of these CCGs used to come in. And there's been changes over the years, but I've always found the packaging of CCGs and some of the cards to be extremely interesting. Now, I've used to keep an older batch of packaging from older CCGs. I don't remember what happened to that, but I have a collection here of packaging that I've managed to keep, and I'm going to show you and take you through the evolution over the years. Now, when CCGs first came out in '93 and moving forward from that, and when a lot of us started playing, not everybody kept the packaging that a lot of the CCGs came with, i.e. the starter boxes or the booster packs. A lot of us threw them out. I kept the starter boxes to a certain point only because they held my cards and I had only small decks put together in a bigger box. But after a while, some of us started keeping some packages left over. My original collection of packages has disappeared except for a couple things, so I've put together the rest of the packaging I've kept over the years, and I'll explain a bit about them. Starting with this. This is the Heavenly Inferno deck box from Magic the Gathering. This is not as old as the rest of the stuff in my collection. This is, I think, only maybe 12 years old at the most. I bought it because it contained a combination Magic set, and I ended up adding those cards to my own. I never really used this deck box because I have a couple other deck boxes that are not pictured here, so I kind of keep it as a spare. In keeping with Magic, this is the starter box for the 6th edition. It's not as cool as the starter box for the 4th or 5th edition or Ice Age, but I keep it around because it's in pretty pristine condition. And speaking of Ice Age, these are 2 booster packs, empty of course, from Ice Age. If I remember correctly, I won an auction for these two. They were full packages when I got them, unopened. And they actually had some cool cards in them that I added to my set. So I kept the packages because the artwork is cool. This one has a scaled worm, and this one has a wolf on it. The Star Trek customizable card game, the first 2 expansions and the core set of booster packs all had the same packaging, with the exception being the icon and the strip down the middle. So the original set would say Premier, and it would have the Premier logo. This one is the Alternate Universe logo because it is all the way back from the Alternate Universe. And whereas the next expansion was Q Continuum, it had a green and black Q, and it said Q Continuum. This is the enhanced Premier starter deck from the Star Wars card game. I actually did have a small collection of Star Wars CCG. I ended up giving it to a friend because he's a way bigger Star Wars fan than I wanted to gift it because I didn't play anymore. Because Decipher came out with enhanced Premier for both the Star Trek and Star Wars CCG, as you can see, it's pretty much the same box, only changed a little for the different card games. The enhanced Premier came with a starter, 5 limited edition collector cards. Sorry, it didn't come with a starter. It came with 4 expansion packs, and you also had a window that would show you some of the super rare cards that were in there that would help you along in the game. And this is a starter box from the Trouble with Tribbles expansion. It came with a pre-constructed starter deck for the Klingon. You're in the Kirk era timeline for this, and it also contains several cards as an add-on for the Tribbles CCG, which I never bothered to get into. The older, or I should say the first few expansions of Magic the Gathering kind of went the same way as the Decipher did with the Star Trek card game. Very basic booster packs with just the name of the expansion and telling you what's in it. The X-Files was cool. The original core set, Premier, and the expansions looked like this. The last 2 expansions had a different version of Mulder and Scully with different coloring. I think one of them was purple. But it's still pretty damn cool. I also have a starter box. I'm not showing you that. And one of the coolest things that came out in terms of CCG packaging was the sealed deck boxes for the Star Trek card game by Decipher. They were in a multitude of different affiliations. Some of us tried to collect the deck boxes. It didn't work out. I have 3. I have the Federation sealed deck box, which I traded for, Cardassian, and I have a Bajoran one in my storage cabinet. Always wanted the Borg, never got it, but it is what it is. So that's an example of a lot of the packaging that came with the CCGs back in the day. The packaging was cool. It's hard to overlook it, and that's why I wanted to do this episode just on the packaging. Because it's awesome. I'm like, seriously. Packaging makes the game sometimes. I know it's too easy just to toss out the booster packs once you've ripped them open. But if you can open them carefully, like I did with my X-Files ones, you can keep them in mint condition. Keep 2 or 3 just to say that you had them and that you opened them and you played that game. You don't have to keep everything. Not a lot of us did. One of my regrets was not keeping a couple of the open packs from the First Contact expansion for Star Trek CCG, and one of my other regrets was not buying the first anthology kit, like a big card box special edition with either the Star Wars card game or the Star Trek card game, because those boxes were cool. Not only was it a new anthology with new cards and a whole bunch of good stuff, but you could use the box as your card box and put your decks in it. So don't throw everything out, people. Keep something. Keep them as mementos, or the fact that, hey, this is how it looked like back then when I played CCGs. Have a great day.